What's going on? Welcome to Blockchain Tech and Finance News with me, your host, Ken. Please do subscribe, turn on the bell notifications on the YouTube side, right here on Blockchain Tech and Finance News. We have this going every day at best and get this down perfectly with everything going together in business, life, and self. Every day, 7:30 a.m. EDT time and Saturday, 11:30 a.m. EDT time. Also, you can check out my NFT artwork, KinsArt on OpenSea and Foundation. Follow me on TikTok, KinToshi GG. Follow me on Instagram, KinToshi GG, and on Twitch, KinToshi GG. Let's go right into the market watch as the first piece of news we have for the day. Also in the chats, you can see in the chats, I'll put the chats up on the Twitter side. And if you want to leave your comments, what you think is important in the news today, what you'd like to see and is worth covering, I will feature it in the chat section. You can have it on the stream here. I'll turn on the overlays if need be. So yeah, leave your comments, leave what you think is important, leave your feedbacks on this channel. We always love to improve the space. All right, I'm just gonna make the retweet out. We're gonna go right on to the start with the market watch. So I'll leave it for a couple of minutes, not even a minute, really just leave it for a little bit so you can add your comments in there. All right. So yeah, feel free to retweet this out if you're on the Twitter side. Get this going. Also, I do Love Death Art at 12 p.m. EDT time zones. So you can check those out if you like to check on who's sharing what art, who's building what in this place. Let's see, go check these things out. I think that's good enough. All right. I will bring up the chat so I can see the chat on the Twitter side. Audio looks good. Let's go into the markets. All right. Turn the cool little overlay and jump right on in. So today we've got the Dow up 2.8%, the S&P 500 up 3.06%, the Nasdaq up 3.34%, the global Dow down 0.26%, gold down 0.71%, and oil down 0.54% in the Europe markets. So that was the U.S. markets. Let's go into the Europe markets. So we got the Dow looking pretty good today, starting out. I've heard we've been going up some pretty good correction upwards here from a low, but we'll see how long that lasts, right? So the DGIAF is down 0.87%, S&P F is down 0.6%, Nasdaq F is down 0.84%, gold is down 0.7%, silver down 0.291%, crude oil 0.59%. Some may see it as a bearish market. Let's see to not buy silver or to see it as an entrance into silver, depending on where the markets are going. Not financial advice, but yeah, check that out. That was on the futures, actually. I was trying to go over to the year. Sorry. FTSE 100 down 1.02%. The DAX down 0.77%. The CAC 40 down 0.71%. The FTSE MIB down 1.67%. The IBEX 35 down 0.158%. The Stock 600 down 0.82%. In the Asia markets, the Asia Dow up 2.36%. The Nikkei 225 up 0.48%. The Hang Seng up 5.9%. The Shanghai down 0.55%. Sensex up 2.25%. Singapore up 0.46%. In the Forex markets, we've got the Euro down 0.72%. The Yen up 0.19%. The Pound down 1.04%. The Australia dollar down 0.75%. The DXY IDX up 0.72%. The the WSJ IDX up 0.54%. In the rates market, so the rates, we got the US 10-year up 0.053, Germany 10-year up 0.043, Italy 10-year up 0.099, Spain 10-year up 0.073, the UK 10-year up 0.118, the Japan 10-year up 0.0183. In the futures market, the GGIF is down 0.86%, the S&P F is down 0.85%, the NASDAQ F is down 0.82%, the gold is down 0.69%. Silver, I already read the futures. Let's skip over that. You don't need to read it again. Anyways, I'm just on go mode. Bitcoin today is $20,072, down 1.37%. Ethereum USD is down 1.45%. XRP USD is down 0.06%. Bitcoin Cash is down 1.16%. Litecoin USD is down 2.40%, and Monero USD is down 1.1%. So these are the markets on the Market Watch, and let's go right on to the first piece of news here I have for the day. This is from Cointelegraph. So we're going to start out with blockchain tech and some blockchain technology news, and we're going to cryptocurrency news, NFT news. So whatever's related with blockchains itself, and whatever is related with cryptocurrency, whether it's a cryptocurrency that has a blockchain that is within itself, or it's cryptocurrency built upon a blockchain. Then we have some NFT news. Then we'll go into some technology news and close out with some finance news. So the first piece of news we have here for the day, I found interesting, was from Cointelegraph. In the the European Parliament members vote in favor of crypto and blockchain tax policies. So this is from writer Turner Wright. Make sure this is up on. There we go. It's on the monitor. European Parliament members vote in favor of crypto and blockchain tax policies. So again, this is from writer Turner Wright. The resolution recommended authorities in the Parliament's 27-member state consider a simplified tax treatment for crypto users involved in occasional or small transactions. Members of the Parliament of the European Union voted in favor of a non-binding resolution aimed at using blockchain to fight tax evasion and coordinate tax policy on cryptocurrencies. In an October 4th notice, the European Parliament said 566 out of 705 members voted in favor of the resolution originally drafted by member Lydia Pereira, according to the legislative body. The resolution recommended authorities in its 27 member states considered a simplified tax treatment for crypto users involved in occasional or small transactions and have national tax administrations use blockchain technology to facilitate efficient tax collection. For cryptocurrencies, the resolution called on the European Commission to assess whether converting crypto to fiat would constitute a taxable event, depending on where the transaction occurred, saying it was a more appropriate choice. In addition, the policy would request an administrative amendment to better exchange information in regard to taxes on crypto. The resolution added that the Parliament's member states could integrate blockchain solutions into tax programs. Blockchain's unique features could offer a new way to automate tax collection, limit corruption, and better identify ownership of tangible and intangible assets, allowing for better taxing mobile taxpayers. Work must be undertaken to identify the best practice of using technology to improve the analytical capacity of tax administrations. Policymakers in the European Union have moved forward to regulate the crypto market through their markets and crypto assets framework. The bill, first introduced to the European Commission in 2020 and adopted by the European Council in 2021, aims to create a consistent regulatory framework for cryptocurrencies among EU member states. Many expect the policies to go into effect in 2024. So that's here. European Parliament members vote in favor of cryptocurrency and blockchain tax policies. This next piece of news I have here is also from Cointelegraph. This is This is from Is Payments Giant Swift Preparing for a Blockchain-Bound Future? This is from Andrew Singer. Our trade and DeFi coverage converging, moving toward a middle ground that includes tokenized assets, interoperability, and regulation. Swift is a payment colossus. It operates across more than 200 countries, has 11,000 plus financial institution clients, and transmits some 8.4 billion financial messages every year. It is the global leader of cross-border bank-to-bank payments and recently played a key role in the West's economic sanctions on Russia. That doesn't mean the Belgium-based cooperative is immune to disruption tremors. However, critics have long maintained the interbank message system found in the 1970s is old, inflexibly slow, and increasingly prone to cyber attacks. In May, MasterCard CEO Michael Miebach cast doubt upon Swift's ability to survive the next 5 years. Meanwhile, it continues to be menaced by a rising tide of blockchain-based payment networks on one side and an expected torrent of central bank digital currencies, CBDCs, on the other. But last week, in a sign that even entrenched legacy financial networks can possibly change their stripes, Swift confirmed a proof-of-concept project with blockchain oracle provider Chainlink. If all goes well, Swift's bank users could easily access and transfer digital assets on multiple blockchain platforms. Days earlier, Swift also announced it was using fintech firm Days earlier, Swift also announced it was using fintech firm Symbiont's enterprise blockchain platform to improve its messaging in corporate events like dividend payments and mergers. These developments raise an intriguing question. Rather than engaging in a zero-sum struggle to the death, are traditional finance, TradeFi, and decentralized finance, DeFi firms actually converging, i.e., moving toward a common middle ground that includes tokenized assets, DeFi interoperability, and yes, regulation. I had to run up the stairs real quick and run back down the stairs for one moment. Co-opting an existential threat. All financial goods will move across blockchain networks in the future. Matthew Hugan, Chief Investment Officer at Bitwise Asset Management, told Cointelegraph. It's not surprising to see legacy firms looking to adopt and/or co-opt a technology that represents a fundamental threat to their existence. In fact, it should be applauded. Let's see. Of course, this is just a pilot program, Hugan added. It's not like Swift got blockchain religion overnight. It's converting all of their activities to DLT, but it's a start. For that, the network should be applauded, he suggested. In this rapidly evolving technological world, there's no place for binary viewpoints that embrace an I win, you lose mentality, especially in its capital markets and finance sector. Mark Smith, CEO and co-founder of Symbiont, told Cointelegraph, further adding, ultimately, what ends up being the norm is usually a hybrid, and we definitely see a melding unfolding that will borrow from the best that TradeFi and DeFi have to offer. Let's see, how much longer is this? This is a very long article, okay? The point is here, there's our traditional institutions ready for tokenization, and most likely they're really not still, to be honest. I'll answer that. Are cross-chain bridges secure? The SmartCon panelists didn't really address some of the challenges associated with cross-chain bridges. However, including security concerns, yes, there are security risks with cross-chain projects, commented Hugan, which is why you need pilot projects like this. Cross-chain bridges are designed to solve the problem of interoperability between blockchain platforms. Blockchain networks today, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, and others, are like the railroad system in the 19th century before track gauge sizes were standardized. Passengers and freight had to be offloaded to another train when incompatible rail lines met. Cross-blockchain bridges are designed to solve these sort of incompatibilities, but the problem is they appear to be vulnerable to hacks. Some $2 billion has been stolen from bridges in 13 separate heists, according to Chainalysis, most of it this year. Ethereum founder Vitalik Buterin, too, red flagged cross-chain bridges recently, suggesting they can enable 51% network attacks. A key problem seemed to be that the bridges tend to accumulate large amounts of locked assets from different blockchains, some quite obscure and not always built with advanced security features, according to Elliptic's Cross-Chain Report 2022 release on October 4th, which noted this has made bridges an attractive target for cybercriminals. From January to July 2022, $1.2 billion worth of crypto assets were stolen across 8 bridge-comprised incidences. All right. Chainlink presumably believes that it will do a better job with security than cross-chain bridges have done in the past. Nazaroff said as much as in post-SmartCom interviews. This is what CCIP seeks to solve, and I don't think it's an interaction problem. I think it's a solvable problem, he told Fortune. So, yeah, there's definitely a risk in that part. Co-opting, you can read about this. Again, I have all these articles on the recap in the YouTube side, so you can check through and do more research at your own due diligence and read through all the articles nonchalantly. But that's a very long article, and I want to touch upon the most important aspects and keep this stream rolling on. And to the next piece of news we have here is from Blockchain News. So we're going to shift over from this piece of news into there, from Cointelegraph into Blockchain News. So this is from Blockchain News. No plans to launch crypto platform yet in NASDAQ. This is from Aaron Limbu, writer for Blockchain News. NASDAQ plans to wait for further clarity in terms of crypto adoption globally, the company's executive vice president and head of North American markets said. Tal Cohen said that the world's second largest stock exchange is awaiting greater regulatory clarity and institutional adoption around crypto exchanges before planning to launch its own platform of its own. Currently, I think Coinbase, Binance is the biggest, then Coinbase, and then Gemini, I believe in that order. Or correct me if I'm wrong in the comments on if there's other ones. I'm sure there are other global ones. Let's see. Those are the discussions we are happy to have, told Cohen. Cohen told Bloomberg TV on Tuesday. But right now, on the retail side, the market is fairly saturated. He said there's a number of exchanges servicing the retail customer base. Yep, I believe the same. It's definitely saturated with cryptocurrency exchanges. NASDAQ instead plans to stay focused on its crypto custody services. Cohen said that these services are foundational for clients, citing massive demand add opportunities there. We think if you can safekeep people's assets, they'll trust you to do everything else afterwards, he said. Cohen added that along with safekeeping services, NASDAQ is working on facilitating the movement and transfer of these assets by building out its execution capabilities. In September, NASDAQ announced it would offer custody service for Bitcoin and Ether to institutional investors. To do so, the firm hired Ira Auerbach, who ran prime broker services at cryptocurrency exchange Gemini, to head the new NASDAQ digital assets unit. The primary target market for the NASDAQ exchange is institutional investors, as adoption has grown remarkably among these classes in the past few years. While accumulating crypto is one thing, safeguarding them is another, and the company-owned funds are not supposed to be handled by solely one person. According to Blockchain News, this calls for the need for custodial services. While exchanges like Coinbase, Gemini, and Kraken are already dominating the crypto custody space for institutional investors, many believe NASDAQ is not yet late to the party. I'm surprised they didn't note Gemini in here because, Gemini is like the biggest, right? From my understanding. Again, let me know who's the biggest if you got that insight in the comments, in the chat. This next piece of news, I'm going to shift over from Alpha Blockchain into some cryptocurrency specific to what is POW Ethereum ETHW, and how does it work? POW Ethereum, or ETHW, is a forked version of the Ethereum blockchain created by a Chinese miner after the merge of the execution and consensus layers. So essentially, to note, basically, Ethereum has switched over to proof of stake from proof of work. Proof of work was using mining protocol to mine via energy-intensive computer graphic cards. And so it switched over to proof of stake. So it's no longer needing computer graphic cards to mine, but there was a hard fork in that split to now continuously with ETHW, POW Ethereum, that still uses graphic cards for mining, which is not very good for the carbon footprint. But we're going to read about this. Ethereum blockchain shifted from proof of work POW to a proof of stake POS consensus mechanism on September 15, 2022. Along with this move, ETH POW, a distinct POW blockchain, basically the old pre-merged Ethereum, forked from Ethereum's merge, became live. This forked version of Ethereum aims to maintain the proof of work mining process for ETH miners. Any miner is permitted to add a block to the POW network with clear stipulation that the first valid block published is the correct one. In reality, more than one legitimate block is occasionally discovered by the network due to the latency of data propagation, creating numerous branches of the blockchain called a fork. This article will discuss the proof of work Ethereum fork, the history of POW Ethereum, and the difference between ETH and ETHW. So, what is ETHW POW? Again, I'm going to cite this article because we're going to keep this going because most likely this is a bit of a longer article, and I want to touch upon the most important aspects in here and leave it to you to do further reading or full reading if you'd like on your own accordance. So the long-awaited merge upgrade for Ethereum reduced the requirement for miners. It replaced them with validators who stake their Ether rather than using costly and energy-intensive devices to secure the network, significantly increasing the cryptocurrency's energy efficiency. However, ahead of the merge, a hard fork of the Ethereum network called ETHW, which still uses POW consensus mechanism, was created, leading to a triumph for ETH miners. But who is behind ETHW? Chinese miner Chandler Guo opposed the POS consensus method and launched the POW-based Ethereum blockchain. Although creating the POW Ethereum chain could be a victory for miners over stakers, ETHW users suffered accessibility issues. Yeah, exactly. So we don't know if this is going to be sustainable. I think, again, people have to have a use case for ETHW now, for the proof of work to continue. And obviously, people have to build on that. So we're already all building on proof of stake, and a lot of people have to continuously build on the ETH POW protocol, which I have seen in the proof of stake migration. This Ethereum 2.0 under Vitalik's wing, the Ethereum Foundation, has significantly decreased the fees for transacting, buying NFTs, sending Ethereum here and there, and what have you. Playing games that are blockchain-based games on the Ethereum network, the proof of stake network, has all decreased in the network consensus for gas fees, what's called gas fees or network fees, to transact this. And that's a really win-win if you ask me. So I'm not really for ETHW myself, but that's just myself, but maybe you are. But people have to also build upon that. So now all new games have to build on ETHW if they're in different dApps and all that stuff, products and stuff. Have to see a demand to build on there rather than the proof of stake mechanism, which I'm not seeing it currently. But again, how does POW Ethereum work? The initial version of the Ethereum network, Ethereum Classic, was based on the POW consensus method. However, this version was hard forked to secure the network due to the DAO hack. So back in the day, this DAO hack occurred, which locked up millions and millions upon maybe even over $1 billion, what have you. And basically, to repair that, Ethereum had to fork itself, and it had to fork into two split chains, leaving the hack on the what became Ethereum Classic, and move forward with an unhacked chain to undo the DAO hack and unlock those funds. Ethereum Fair and Ethereum POW are the other two hard forks of the original Ethereum blockchain that will continue to use proof of work. So this vulnerability hack was so significant that that the whole chain had to fork years ago. I was there for that, actually. I remember that. Proof of work cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, BTC are promoted as censorship-resistant, trustless type of digital money created after one person or a small group of people solve a mathematical puzzle and propose a new block. However, to prevent any small group of miners from enacting rules that would weaken the resistance to censorship, many non-colluding miners must be processing transactions. Similarly, to stop anyone from abusing the system, ETHW miners will also continue to solve arbitrary mathematical challenges to validate transactions and mine new tokens. In return, they will be rewarded with ETHW, the native asset to the ETH POW chain. ETHW is on, I believe, it's on crypto.com, on Coinbase, and that's on Binance. I was about to say it's on Binance, from my understanding. But Binance is also saying, take due diligence to do your own research and take caution. It's not on their main exchange yet, from my understanding. Last I heard. So I'm not going to go into how to get it. You can get it from exchange, and again, you can read that. How to store it is right there. So ETH versus ETHW. After the merge, the Ethereum network was split into two versions: ETH, which uses the POS consensus proof of stake consensus algorithm, and ETHW, which uses the older proof of work algorithm. That said, ETHW miners receive rewards in the form of Ethereum tokens by solving complicated mathematical puzzles, as we noted before, whereas validators will need to stake ETH for revenue purposes. ETHW, so when you stake your ETH, you're basically freezing it up into a network that rewards you for freezing your ETH. That helps the network out, and you get rewarded in new Ethereum on top of that. It's kind of like a dividend-bearing stock, to say it at the simplicity level. ETHW attracts miners because without a proof-of-work consensus mechanism, they may go bankrupt, as new tokens will be added to the blockchain via the staking process. On the other hand, the proof-of-stake blockchain is not a replacement for the original Ethereum blockchain, but rather a merge of the execution mainnet and the consensus beacon chain layers. So basically, yes, everything that we built on the proof-of-work stake of Ethereum is now on the proof-of-work is now on the proof-of-stake. So I'm not interested in ETHW myself, right? Miners will just for revenue, but I'm not interested to build on there. I'm building on the ETH proof of stake now, and everything I've built on the ETH proof of stake is on the ETH proof of work. My migration to proof of stake is still on the proof of stake. No reason changing it. It is vastly more more efficient in transactional fees and speed, actually. And there's further upgrades to come very soon here to increase the efficiency in the network processing rate, speed, and cheapness of transactions in the Ethereum proof of stake consensus mechanism. So the future of POW Ethereum, I'll say this, the POW consensus scheme's incentive structure requires the network miners to perform many hashes to obtain the first usable block hash, resulting in unsustainable energy use. Additionally, the consensus mechanism adjusts the block hash difficulty upward as the network's processing power grows, leading to a higher network-wide hash rate. Moreover, the energy used by unsuccessful miners goes to waste, leading Ethereum to move to a proof-of-stake consensus mechanism. Although ETHW attracts miners because they have already invested in hardware mining equipment, the POS consensus method is less energy-intensive and allows networks to scale inexpensively. Proof-of-stake is still in its infancy, potentially revolutionizing blockchain security and rendering mining obsolete, but it is yet to be seen if proof-of-stake consensus algorithms result in the complete cessation of proof-of-work mining. Probably not completely, again, because we have this ETHW and as a proof of work, and people are going to look to capitalize off of that by mining it. So they're probably going to merge together, and they already have their mining equipment, so they're already ready to go on that, basically, and they're already mining. Who's building? Again, you can mine it all day long, but what's the use case of it if no one's building on it? Because we're all on proof of stake. So we'll see what happens to drive that demand. And I don't think it's there personally, but that's just my take. Financial advice, do your own research, right? This next piece of news here is from in the Web3 sector. And we're going to shift over to NFT news. Then we're going to go into some tech news, some finance news, and just a general piece of global news. And we're going to close out the stream for the day. Japan to invest in metaverse and NFT expansion. Prime Minister Fumio Kishida continued calls for Web3 technology integration. This is from writer Cameron Thompson for CoinDesk. Japan's Prime Minister Fumio Kishida said in a policy speech on Monday that the country's plans for investing in digital transformation include non-fungible tokens, NFT, and metaverse services. The country has steadily been promoting investment in digital technology, including through tax incentives for companies that embrace a digital future. In his speech to Japan's parliament, Kishida said that the country will continue to focus on supporting the social implementation of digital technology and will promote efforts to expand the use of Web3 services that utilize the metaverse and NFTs. Japan's federal foray into Web3 follows a trend of officials taking strides to implement Web3 related services in the country rather than following the typical bureaucratic route that policies must often travel through. Kishida's administration recently established a Web3 policy office under the Ministry of Economy, Trade and Industry (METI), which is focused on creating policies for the country's gradual blockchain expansion. In April, task force launched by Kishida's Liberal Democratic Party and led by political Akihisa Shiozaki released an NFT white paper which called Web3 the new frontier of the digital economy and outlined plans to advance the national strategy on Web3. METI is also reportedly looking into a proposal to offer tax exemptions to Japanese crypto companies in order to entice them to keep their business in the country and further fuel the nation's growing Web3 industry. So Binance is licensed to operate in Japan in this report. So that's a short article there, but again, it's definitely noteworthy with Prime Minister jumping into NFTs and metaverse research and forming basically a kind of coalition for that sector there. This next piece of news is from Decrypt. This is from writer Andrew Hayward, and this is also NFT. Ubisoft, Take-Two back Ethereum NFT game maker Horizon in $40 million round. Skyweaver game developer Horizon just raised a Series A round with apparently game giants on board. In Britain, the Web3 startup behind NFT game Skyweaver just raised a $40 million Series A funding round. Video game publishers Ubisoft and Take-Two Interactive are notable backers. Major video game publishers Ubisoft and Take-Two Interactive are digging deeper into the NFT gaming space with today's announcement of a $40 million Series A round by Horizon, the developer behind NFT-driven competitive card game Skyweaver. The two firms are among those that participated in the funding round, which was led by Brevin Howard Digital and Morgan Creek Digital. Other backers include Polygon gaming-centric VC firm Bitcraft, metaverse investor Every Realm, payments firm Exola, and Initialized Capital. Horizon also attracted some notable individual investors with the round, including Shopify CEO Tobias Lucht, Lolly co-founder and CEO Alex Adam, and a pair of co-creators from notable NFT games, The Sandbox co-founder and COO Sebastian Bourget, and Axie Infinity co-founder Sky Davis COO Alexander Larson. Skyweaver, a trading card game akin to Blizzard's popular Hearthstone, with cards represented as Ethereum NFT assets that can be sold and traded, similar to rival NFT games Gods Unchained. An NFT is the blockchain token that represents ownership in a unique item, including digital goods like artwork, collectibles, and video game items. Horizon's title first launched in closed alpha testing in 2018, but only released in open beta earlier this year for anyone to play. In addition to publishing the game, Horizon has turned to the tech behind it into Sequence, an Ethereum-based development platform and wallet for other creators to tap their own Web3 games and apps. In a post today, Horizon wrote that it will use the $40 million to further push Sequence, as well as continue to enhance, grow Skyweaver. It will also soon launch Nifty Swap, a decentralized marketplace focused on Ethereum and Polygon ERC-1155 NFTs, also called semi-fungible tokens (SFTs), used for games and collectibles. Horizon previously raised $13.3 million in seed funding, including a $5 million tranche in 2020 led by initialized and now departed co-founder Alexis Ohanian. The Reddit co-founder has been an outspoken advocate for Skyweaver and NFT gaming in the whole, today tweeting that it was a non-obvious investment at the time. Ubisoft and Take-Two Interactive are two of the largest video game publishers around. Ubisoft is the firm behind massive franchises like Assassin's Creed, Just Dance, Far Cry, while Take-Two's popular brands like Rockstar Games, 2K Games have produced smashes like Grand Theft Auto, Red Dead Redemption, and NBA 2K. Both have also made previous moves into the Web3 space. Ubisoft has experimented with NFTs and blockchain tech for years, and more recently stepped up its efforts by releasing Tezos-based in-game NFTs, and for the PC game Ghost Recon Breakpoint in December 2021. So Tezos is a whole different blockchain than Ethereum. Just to note, it's now migrated and going with smart contracts and NFT gamings and other utilities and products being built on Tezos blockchain. So again, Ghost Recon Breakpoint in December 2021. The firm has also invested in and supported numerous other Web3 startups. Take-Two, meanwhile, recently acquired mobile and casual game maker Zynga, which is currently working on NFT-driven games. In January, Take-Two CEO Strauss Zelnick specifically cited Web3 opportunities on the horizon, which he said the combined company would be better positioned to tackle. Many gamers have pushed back against NFTs, citing scams, rampant speculation, and a now diminished environmental impact of the top platform Ethereum. However, many in the Web3 space, from developers and to marketplace builders, believe that NFTs will eventually take hold in the video game industry due to prospective benefits for players and creators alike. So that's our article here. So if you're all in gaming, especially card gaming, I love League of Legends and Pokemon, right? The Pokemon TCP, the Pokemon trading game, that's all digital. This is a card game like that, right? And Gods Unchained was another one, so you can check out Gods Unchained if you're a gamer and into those type of games for digital card games like that. We got a bunch of Pokemon physical cards up there that we all play. Skyweaver, check it out. Do your own research. Take caution in markets, and if there's things that you can buy with Ethereum, only risk what you can afford to lose, because again, NFTs and crypto may always go to zero. It's speculation, so it's very early in this, and it's very volatile in this sector. Have fun with it. Have fun with it in gaming. All right, so this next piece of news is from Global Newswire. This is also NFT. California high school student launches innovative NFT project to support students in Ukraine. Los Angeles, California, in the Mountain View. So this is right from writer. Let's see. It's source from Mountain View Academy. Mountain View Academy student Daisy Land has announced the launch of an innovative new NFT series that will be launched in conjunction with Mountain View Academy's 100th year anniversary. The projects will be dedicated to supporting the Ukrainian students displaced in the war. For Land, the metaverse and blockchain technology is a way to make the world a better and more accessible place. Like her dad, who is the founder of multiple blockchain and crypto organizations, Daisy believes that the possibilities the metaverse and Web3 world are creating through the world of NFTs. NFTs have become a global industry estimated to be worth more than $231 billion by 2030. During Land's senior year, the industry saw millions of new entrants around the hype for prized PFP collections like Bored Apes or Cosmic Kitties. Cosmic Kitties? I mean Crypto Kitties? I don't know what Cosmic Kitties is. As well as the opportunity for artists to sell directly to their fan base. Despite a tough schedule, Land decided there was no better time to jump, especially as the war in Ukraine has displaced more than 700,000 students from over 2,000 schools. As an immigrant student, Land moved with her family to the United States less than 2 years ago. With the move came a new language, new culture, and new perspective. But one thing that hasn't changed in her heart is her heart to make the most of her opportunities, and with it, create opportunities for others. In just the short time she's been in the United States, she has completed multiple certification courses in blockchain technology and Web3 applications. Lan explains, "I took the opportunity in California to access some of the world's best educators and learn firsthand how blockchain technology is impacting us and the potential it has on the future of the world. I hope to further pursue these topics in my college career." Before she graduates high school, Daisy will oversee the completion of an aspirational NFT project that will see 100 unique pieces of art sold and 100% of the proceeds going toward the students in Ukraine. Mountain View Academy is supporting the effort as well, proving that it is never too early to put action towards dreams in an effort to make a difference. Yep, I agree with that. Great article there. Nice, short, to the point, and helpful. This is what's awesome about NFTs, is it can help. And again, it's artwork, and artwork still outperforms the S&P 500. So we're going to shift over out of blockchain, out of cryptocurrency, and all of that. We're going to go to Al Jazeera, Nobel Prize in Physics. So this is technology news in science and technology sector. So Nobel Prize in Physics awarded to 3 scientists. Elaine Aspect, John Clauser, and Anton Zeilinger are awarded for discoveries in the field of quantum mechanics. Elaine Aspect of John Clauser of the United States and Australia's Anton Zeilinger have won the 2022 Nobel Prize in Physics for experiments with entangled photons, establishing the violation of Bell inequalities and pioneering quantum information science, the award-giving body said on Tuesday. The discoveries have significant applications, for example, in the field of encryption. Quantum information is a vibrant and rapidly developing field, said Eva Allison, a member of the Nobel Committee. It has broad and potential implications in areas such as secure information transfer, quantum computing, and sensing technology. Its origin can be traced to that of quantum mechanics, she said. Its predictions have opened doors to another world, and it has also shaken the very foundations of how we interpret measurements. While physicists often tackle problems that appear at first glance to be far removed from everyday concerns, tiny particles in the vast mysteries of space and time, the research provides the foundations for many practical applications of science. Last year, the prize was awarded to 3 scientists, Syokuro Manabe, Klaus Hasselmann, and Giorgio Parisi, whose work has helped to explain and predict complex future forces of nature, thereby expanding our understanding of climate change. In this week's awards, a week of Nobel Prize announcement kicked off on Monday. There was Swedish scientist Svante Pääbo receiving the award in medicine on Monday for unlocking secrets of Neanderthal DNA that provided key insights into our immune system. They continue with the chemistry on Wednesday and literature on Thursday. The 2022 Nobel Peace Prize will be announced on Friday and the Economics Award on October 10th. Prizes carry a cash award of $10 million Swedish kroner, nearly $900,000, and will be handed out on December 10th. The money now comes from a bequest left by the prize's creator, Swedish inventor Alfred Nobel, who died in 1985. All right, so that's this year. So congratulations to them on the Nobel Prize in Physics awarded to these 3 scientists, Alan Aspect, John Clauser, and Anton Zeilinger, for their discoveries in the field of quantum mechanics. So let's keep going in the technology sector. See if the BBC lets us unlock this article here today. So the BBC News, Tesla boss Elon Musk presents humanoid robot Optimus. This from writer Shiona McCallum. Tech billionaire Elon Musk has presented the latest prototype of humanoid robot of a humanoid robot being developed by his Tesla electric car company. Optimus appeared on stage at a Silicon Valley event where it waved to the audience and raised its knees. The CEO said the robot was... Is he gonna cut me off of this? No, here we go. It's just trying to give me an ad. Sorry. Optimus appeared on stage at a Silicon Valley event where it waved to the audience and raised its knees. The CEO said the robot was a work in progress but could be on sale to the public in a few years' time. Tesla's mass market robots will be tested by working jobs in the car factories, company's engineers said. The prototype was wheeled on stage during an annual Tesla AI Artificial Intelligence Day presentation. So the BBC is not responsible for the content of external sites, like here's the Twitter here anyways. People are shown, I didn't really need to read that part. People were shown in a video of Optimus performing simple tasks such as watering plants, carrying boxes, and lifting metal bars. Mr. Musk said the robots would be produced en masse at a cost lower than $20,000, 17,900 euro, and will be available in 3 to 5 years. The Tesla boss spoke of a future of abundance ahead. It's really a fundamental transformation of civilization as we know it, he continued. The Terminator path. Investors and financial analysts have expressed skepticism that Tesla will turn into robotics. That will turn to robotics, advising it to focus instead on projects closer to Tesla's core business of electric cars. But Mr. Musk said that he wanted to solve one of the toughest problems, artificial intelligence, and how to make a machine that can replace a human. Okay, an entrepreneur who once warned of artificial intelligence being a threat to humanity said that Tesla wanted to make sure the transition to a society in which robots did the work and people reaped the benefits was a safe one. We always want to be careful we don't go down the Terminator path, he cautioned, referring to a blockbuster firm about. Y'all know the movie Terminator. If you don't, you can look it up. But I'll say this: Boston Dynamics is definitely vastly far advanced into robotics. He added that Tesla was building in safeguards, including a stop button that could not be tampered with. Mr. Musk contended that shareholders would determine if the publicly traded company was socially responsible. Tesla's AI Day is aimed at recruiting and showcasing its latest products, so I guess that was part of it right there. Right, Tesla boss Elon Musk presents the humanoid robot Optimus. All right, let's go on we're going to shift over into the global finance sector, and what's going on in the finance and stock market. We're going to close out the stream with one last piece of news there in the global spectrum of news all around. It's from Yahoo Finance writer Brian Salzi, anchor editor at large. Boeing stock could rise 90%, analyst argues. Boeing stock BA has been like a wounded bird this year amid recession fears, but an analyst at CFRA argues that it could be poised for liftoff. Shares of the airplane manufacturer have tanked 34% year to date, badly lagging the Dow and Jones Industrial Average DJI 17% drop. The street has voiced concern over how a global economic slowdown could weigh on demand for Boeing's planes. Boeing's high debt position hasn't helped investor sentiment either, particularly in the time of rising interest rates and given the uncertain timeline for FAA approval of the 737 MAX 10. We think this fear is misplaced, CFRA analyst Colin Scarola wrote in a new note about the concerns over Boeing's debt position. Here are more details from Scarola's aggressive call on Boeing. The price targets $252 reiterated. The rating strong buy reiterated. The stock price movement assumed 90 plus 92%. Why Scarola thinks concerns about Boeing's debt position are overblown. Boeing has no floating rate debt outstanding, meaning rising interest rates won't impact its earnings. All else equal, Scarola explained further, we expect the firm can repay all future debt maturities out of free cash flow without need to refinance at higher rates. The analyst added that even if our free cash flow projections miss, the firm can easily cover its $5.4 billion of debt maturities remaining in 2022 and 2023 by tapping into its large cash pile of $11.4 billion, again avoiding the need to refinance at higher rates. Scarola at Boeing deliveries should rise regardless of recession. Although a recession could certainly impact demand for Boeing, Scarola suggested that the market may have gotten carried away in pricing a full-blown recession. Another reason we think shares have been beaten down this year is fear that the global recession will keep the plane makers' delivery rates from recovering upward, Scarola wrote. We think that This is wrong because delivery rates are already depressed below severe recession levels by supply chain constraints. This means that as long as the labor and material shortages continue to taper, which we expect they will, Boeing deliveries should rise regardless of the recession. To illustrate, in Q2, Boeing delivered 40 planes per month, but if the supply chain could handle the deliveries to backlog ratio it managed during 2017 to 2018, we estimate deliveries would be $60 60 planes per month. Scarola also provided his outlook on the stock should a severe recession materialize. We think a severe recession in aviation is unlikely given the healthy trajectory of travel demand. But if this did occur, we estimate Boeing plane demand would fall roughly 15%, he said. This would result in demand for roughly 51 planes per month, 28% above the Q2 rate of 40. In addition to the high likelihood of Boeing deliveries rising strongly regardless of recession, we think that the market is overlooking the potential near-term catalyst of a homegrown mRNA vaccine being approved in China. We think this would allow lockdowns to end and necessitate resumption of the 737 MAX deliveries to Chinese airlines. So you heard it here on Yahoo Finance about a call on Boeing stock being possible to rise 90% in analysis arguments. So this next news is from Yahoo Finance as well. Morgan Stanley just warned that the U.S. dollar surge creates dangerous conditions for something to break in the financial system. Here are three top shock-proof stocks. This is from Jingpan, writer for Yahoo Finance. So Morgan Stanley just warned that U.S. dollar surge creates dangerous conditions for something to break in the financial system. A strong U.S. dollar is good news for those who want to travel abroad, but for the stock market, which has already plummeted this year, it could lead to further downside, according to Morgan Stanley. The recent move in the U.S. dollar creates an untenable situation for risk assets that historically has ended in a financial or economic crisis. For both Morgan Stanley analysts, led by Mike Wilson, write in a recent note to investors. Wilson's team calculates that every 1% gain in the U.S. dollar index would have a negative 0.5% impact on company profits. Year to date, the U.S. dollar index has surged 16.5%, while the S&P 500 has tumbled 23.8%. Don't miss. Invest your spare change to turn your pennies into a productive portfolio. Mitt Romney says a billionaire tax will trigger demand for these two physical assets. So you can click on these articles if you want to in depth to see what these two are and what they're talking about further here. Anyways, but I'm touching upon the main part. You could be the landlord of Walmart and Whole Foods and Kroger. So you can check out that article there. The analysts also point out that this greenback strength is happening at a time when central banks around the world are tightening monetary policy, and that does not bode well for the markets. If there was ever a time to be on the lookout for something to break, this would be it, they write. Wilson's team expects the S&P 500 to fall to a level of 3,000 to 3,400 later this year or early next year. That implies a further downslide of 7.6% to 18.5%. But that doesn't mean that selling everything. Despite the gloomy outlook, Morgan Stanley still sees upside in quite a few companies. Here's a look at three that it finds particularly attractive. So this is Eli Lilly, LLY. This American pharmaceutical giant commands more than $300 billion in market cap, which with products marketed in 120 countries around the world. Despite the market downturn this year, Eli Lilly is not a beaten down stock. In the first 6 months of 2022, Eli Lilly's revenue grew 6% year over year. Meanwhile, the company's adjusted earnings per share improved 12% from a year ago. Shares are actually up roughly 17% so far in 2022, and Morgan Stanley expects the trend to continue. Analyst Terrence Flynn has an overweight rating on Eli Lilly and recently raised his price target from $395 to $412. Considering that Eli Lilly's shares trade at $321 a piece right now, the new price target implies a potential upside of 28%. Welltower is in the real estate business. The company doesn't own a fancy shopping mall or posh office building. Instead, it focuses on healthcare infrastructure and provides real estate capital to senior housing operators, post-acute care providers, and health systems. In Q2, Welltower's revenue grew 29.1% year over year to $1.47 billion. Its same-store net operating income rose 8.7%. Healthcare is a recession-resistant sector, so healthcare-anchored real estate is typically in high demand. The company also benefits from major demographic tailwind, population aging. Staying on top of the markets, don't miss the latest news and the steady flow. What was this? I'm not going to finish reading that. Anyways, Morgan Stanley analyst Ronald Camden notes that the population aged 75 and older is expected to grow by 4% annually through 2030, which could serve as a catalyst for Welltower's business. Camden has an overweight rating in the company and a price target of $90, implying a potential upside of 37%. And ExxonMobil, XOM. Thanks to the strong oil prices, energy stocks have turned out to be some of the best performers of the S&P 500 so far this year. ExxonMobil, for instance, is up 44% year to date, and that's after a strong rally in 2021. The oil-producing giant gushes profits, cash flow in this commodity price environment. In the first 6 months of 2022, Exxon earned $23.3 billion in profits, and a huge increase from the $7.4 billion in the year ago period. Free cash flow totaled $27.7 billion for the first half compared to $13.8 billion in the same period last year. Solid financials allow the company to return cash to investors. Exxon pays quarterly dividends of 88 cents per share, translating to an annual yield of 3.8%. Morgan Stanley analyst Devin McDermott has an overweight rating on Exxon and recently raised his price target to $113, roughly 23% above the current levels. All right, so that's here. Some shock-proof stocks right there. You heard it. Eli Lilly, Welltower, and ExxonMobil. Let's go into this final piece of news here. I'm going to close out the stream for the day. This is global news in general. This is not based on blockchain, cryptocurrency, NFTs, or finance sector. This is just anything that goes, and let's see what's going on. So the Kremlin says annexation and retreat are not a contradiction amid Ukrainian successes. This is by Guy Falconbridge and Felix Light, writer for Reuters. I reached the article limit. Anyways, let me see if I can get this up somewhere else. Continue reading this. Un momento. Yeah, let me know your comments and chats in the chat part. Be featured on the stream. I'll read it out and show it. Let's see. I think we can do this here maybe. All right. This is about the annexation law. I'm bring this article up here instead. So we're going to shift over to Al Jazeera. This is in live to update sector. Russia-Ukraine live blog. Putin signs annexation law by Edna Mohammed. Russian President Vladimir Putin signs a law to formally annex 4 Ukrainian regions despite global condemnation. A Russian installed official in Kherson says Moscow's forces are regrouping following Ukraine's counterattack successes. Ukraine troops are advancing into Russia's defensive zone toward Luhansk, to British intelligence. Marina, the Russian TV journalist for an on-air anti-war protest, says she has escaped house arrest and is on the run. Let's see. It's not really, it's kind of very brief there. Let's see if there's something else in here. Otherwise, I'm going to close out the stream, right? But yeah, while we're closing up, let me know your chats. Let me know your comments. In the recap on YouTube and the recap on YouTube, we'll have all of these article links in there. You know what? Let's see what else is going on. Let's see what else is going on. Let's go into this. This is important here. Let's close it out with this, actually. This is a little more, it's all relevant, right? This is from NBC News. Seoul's reprisal blows up as U.S. South Korea responds to North Korean missile test. North Korea's successful launch of a nuclear capable ballistic missile over Japan on Tuesday was the country's most provocative weapons demonstration since 2017. Let's pause that. This is by the Associated Press. A malfunctioning South Korean ballistic missile blew up as it plowed into the ground Wednesday during a live fire drill with the United States that was a reprisal for North Korea's successful launch a day earlier of a weapon that flew over Japan and has the range to strike the U.S. territory of Guam. The explosion and subsequent fire panicked and confused residents of the coastal city of Gangneung, who were already uneasy over the increasingly provocative weapons test by rival North Korea. The concern that it could be a North Korean attack only grew as the military and government officials provided no explanation about the explosion for hours. South Korea's Joint Chiefs of Staff said no injuries were reported from the explosion, which involved a short-range Hyomu-2 missile that crashed inside an Air Force base in the outskirts of the city. South Korea's military acknowledged the malfunction hours after internet users raised alarm about the blast and posted social media videos showing an orange ball of flames emerging from an area they described as near the Air Force base. They said it was investigating what caused the abnormal flight of the missile. The U.S. and South Korean militaries are conducting the joint exercise to show their ability to deter a North Korean attack on the South. During Tuesday's drills, they conducted bombing runs by F-15 strike jets using precision munitions and launched 2 missiles each that are part of the Army Tactical Missile System. Seoul's Joint Chiefs of Staff and the U.S. aircraft carrier USS Ronald Reagan was scheduled to return to waters east of South Korea on Wednesday to demonstrate that the Allies' firm will to counter North's continued provocations and threats. The carrier was part of drills last week with South Korea and Japan. The homegrown Hyomu-2 is key to South Korea's preemptive and retaliatory strike strategies against the North. Some versions of the missile are similar to Russian-designed Iskander missiles, which also inspired a localized variant in North Korea as it expands its arsenal of nuclear-capable short-range weapons designed to evade South Korea's missile defenses. North Korea's successful launch of a nuclear-capable ballistic missile hours before the drills was the country's most provocative weapons demonstration since 2017, and was its 5th round of weapons tests in 10 days. That missile has a range capable of striking Guam, which is home to one of the largest military facilities maintained by the U.S. in Asia. North Korea in 2017 also tested missiles capable of hitting the continental United States. Japan's lower house, the more powerful of the 2-chamber parliament, adopted a resolution on Wednesday condemning North Korea's launch, saying that the flight over Japan posed a grave and imminent threat to the country's security. South Korea's foreign ministry said the country's deputy nuclear envoy Lee Tae-woo met with U.S. counterpart Jung Park in Seoul on Wednesday to discuss the recent North Korean launches and vowed to strengthen 3-way cooperation with Tokyo to counter the threat and bring Pyongyang back to the negotiation table. North Korea has fired nearly 40 ballistic missiles over about 20 different launch events this year, exploiting Russia's war in Ukraine and the resulting deep divide in the UN Security Council to accelerate its arms development without risking further sanctions. Its aim is to develop a fully fledged nuclear arsenal capable of threatening the U.S. mainland and its allies while gaining recognition as a nuclear state and wresting concessions from those countries. The United States, Britain, France, Albania, Norway, and Ireland called for an emergency meeting of the UN Security Council over the latest North Korean launch. The open meeting was scheduled for today, right? Yeah, today at 3 p.m. Washington's nuclear diplomacy with Pyongyang has stalled since 2019 over disagreements in exchanging the release of crippling U.S.-led sanctions against the North and North's disarmament steps. So that's it there. I think that's the whole article. Yeah, right? Yeah. So so we're going to close out the stream now, right? With closing this out from Seoul's reprisal blows up U.S. South Korea response to North Korean missile tests. So that's all I've got for the news today. Let me know your comments in the description box on the recap on the YouTube side. And in other regards, again, if you're on the YouTube side, please do subscribe, turn on the bell notifications right here to blockchain, tech, and finance news on this side. And to close it out, finally with this, you can check out my NFT KINSAR on OpenSea and Foundation to search KINSAR on OpenSea and Foundation. Follow on TikTok KinToshi GG, follow on Instagram KinToshi GG, and follow me on Twitch KinToshi GG for extra content. Here on Blockchain Tech and Finance News, we have this every day, live weekdays, 7:30 a.m. EDT time, and Saturday at 11:30 a.m. EDT time zone. All right, that's all I got for today. Again, have a great and safe day. I'll see you back tomorrow, 7:30 a.m. EDT time, with a bunch more cool and also important news. Ciao. Cheers. Peace be with you. Stay safe.